we talk about the process, right? People want to make money. They realize it doesn't make them happy. Then they go think they need to make a difference. So they give away all their money to try and make an impact. And they realize, well, I'm not free. So then they get freedom. And then they realize I need to be healthy, because if I'm not healthy, I can't do any of these things. And we flip it. So we start with health, then go to freedom, then go to impact, becoming a person of value, your unique purpose, contribution, and then making money as an overflow from being a person of value and understanding who you are, where you're going. And so as you think about your journey and maybe reframing your relationship with health, because you were a college athlete, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
like, where were you in your mindset as far as how you thought about, let's just call it your overall well-being, wellness, and what really like clicked that made you think about this differently?
Yeah, well, those are some great questions. And I want to touch on your note about integrity, because that's the first thought that came to mind. Um, but yeah, I mean, there was kind of this fractured sense of self that I had when I was leaving my job. And like, I didn't know if I could like follow through on things I said I would anymore. And I was like, I was feeling the weight of that. Um, and when I came out of the call with that conclusion of, I actually need to take better care of myself, like an easy way, like such a low hanging, I remember you asked me the question, maybe this was over text afterwards, but like, what's one thing you can do for the next 30 days that's good for yourself? Like, that's good for yourself physically. And I was like, run 2 miles a day. And you were like, make it one. So I was like, all right, you got it. So that's what I did. I literally ran a
From two to
mile.
one.
Yeah.
From 2 to 1, I said do less. Why did I say do
Yeah.
less?
I think to make it more achievable, to lower the
Yes.
bar so that you could actually like clear it and build that confidence. And that was
Yes.
exactly the result. Like, I was like, okay, I played sports in college. Like, I could do this, and I did it. And like within the first 14 days, I felt like, there was a sense of confidence that was starting to rebuild, and that overflowed into other areas of my life. Like, it was like within 2 months that I found another job. And so it was like, it definitely had ripple effects. But I think that's was like such a strategic and like powerful and healthy starting point, when it comes to having integrity and confidence. Um, and it was just like, yeah, doing something good for myself physically that was gonna have that ripple effect. Um, but your other question was, how was I thinking about health before we first met, and what was my relationship like then? Honestly, I thought it was like kind of lower on the list of things that were important to me. I was very passionate about my faith, about making a difference, about like living a life that like brought glory to God, and like made a difference in other people's lives. And so that was like what I spent a lot of my time focused on, and that looked like, a lot of spiritual activities, like going to church and reading the Bible, volunteering, like receiving, spiritual teaching. And like that was really important to me. But honestly, I kind of burnt out of that after a while, not realizing that like there are these other areas of my career and my health that are important for like reaching, like that are part of this fulfillment equation, that I kind of deprioritized. And I played sports in college, but that without that kind of structure, my regularity of working out kind of quickly dipped after I left school. And I had tried to make that a habit, but it wasn't quite working. Um, but when that insight came to me of, well, actually, this is going to help you get to where you want to go. Like, that's when it became like my relationship shifted. And there's a whole note, we could talk about how that applied to cooking as well. Like, I was a lifelong non-cook until we met. And then, maybe a year or two into working together, that completely shift when I looked at it differently. And that unlocked a whole nother area of health for me, which is diet. But maybe we can get to that
So good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing is Reed, a lot of people are going to be coming into this and listening to what you're saying. They're like, okay, Reed, I get it, dude. Like you can do the exercise thing, but I actually need to find the job. Or you can do the cooking thing, but I actually need to address my relationships. Right.
Mhm.
And so if you maybe could connect a dot, what would that maybe one real discovery be to connect what somebody's goals might be with activating the core pillar system, getting back to basics and taking care of themselves personally?
Yeah, I would say the core concept here is that your relationship with yourself affects everything else in your life. Like how you treat yourself emanates and comes off to like how you interact with other people. So if you're neglecting like yourself physically, um, that's probably indicative of maybe other ways you're overlooking things, maybe mentally as well. Um, and and that kind of bleeds into how you interact and how you relate to other people. That sounds kind of abstract, but fun. Like for me personally, it was taking better care of myself that helped me rebuild a sense of self esteem, um, and just became a platform that like that allowed me to engage and like be more present with God, that allowed me to tackle things with my father. That was actually something that was going on in my life that made it really difficult for me to be in business at the time. What I'd seen in my family growing up, and now things are much different. But it was when I took myself seriously, um, that like things started to unlock in other areas of my life. Um, and I think really that's why working together like through coaching is such like a beautiful microcosm of what can happen in other areas of your life, in the sense that when you invest in yourself and in your personal growth, um, it pays enormous dividends. I hope that is helpful.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think you nailed it by just and when I say you nailed it, I didn't even know what answer you would give. I was curious, but I think you nailed it in terms of what I personally experienced as well, which is when you take yourself seriously. And the key is not taking yourself too seriously, because we added that seventh core pillar, fun, because the importance of that, right? And I was thinking the other day, I was like, man, my wife really knows Savannah. Savannah, she knows how to have fun. And like I kind of like lost that at a certain time in my life, so that's really important. But the idea of understanding like how to be kind to yourself, what your body practically needs for you to show up well,